Assalamu alaikum, peace be upon you, and welcome to another edition of Being Quranist on QNet TV. Being Quranist is a program which discusses the phenomenon of Quranism and its various ins and outs. And on tonight's program, we wish to discuss Quranist Fundamentalism, or QF. QF is a relatively new term. I think it was coined perhaps 6-7 months ago. As we were having discussions, it emerged that some Quranists were being very fundamentalist in their views. So the term came up, Quranist Fundamentalist, or QF. In this program, when we say QFism, we are referring to Quranist fundamentalism, and when we say QFist, we are referring to Quranist fundamentalists. So I hope you take note of that. It's a relatively new term, but we hope it will catch on. Before we discuss QFism, we should perhaps discuss why we're discussing it in the first place. Well, QFism, in the view of the Quranist network, is a negative development in the Quranist community. The reason is this phenomenon resembles attitudes which are positively disapproved by the Quran. So by adopting this attitude of QFism, by being fundamentalist about something, we are in fact going against the Quran's attitude of tolerance and acceptance. This is why QFism is a problem. So why did we use the term fundamentalist? I mean, we know that these people are Quranists, meaning they only accept the Quran as the sole divine source. But why do we call them fundamentalists? Well, let's first analyze what the term fundamentalist means. It's a misconception to say that fundamentalism means you stick to the fundamentals. That's an incorrect use of the word. The etymology of the word was derived from fundamentals, yes, but it has since been dissociated from fundamentals. A fundamentalist does not necessarily follow the fundamentals of a particular ideology. In the case of Quranist fundamentalism, definitely they don't follow the fundamentals of their ideology, in the opinion of other Quranists anyway. So what is a fundamentalist? Well, in popular usage, how the term is used today is to connote a person with an attitude within any ideology. He has the attitude that he is absolutely correct in his views, and this gives him the prerogative to denounce, demonize, or vilify anyone in that ideology or even outside it. So a Muslim fundamentalist, not a Quranist fundamentalist, but a Muslim fundamentalist would say, well, I read the text and this is the correct view, and anyone else who differs from me is either a mubtadi, an innovator, a kafir, a concealer, or a mushrik, an idolater. That's what a Muslim fundamentalist does. A Quranist fundamentalist reads the Quran and says, yes, this is the absolute interpretation of the Quran. This is given the fact that sometimes, actually most times, Quranist fundamentalists, QFists, tend to read translations. But they say they're reading the Quran and they will say that this is the absolutely correct understanding of the Quran, and anyone else is a deviant from this. So that's a fundamentalist. You can see the attitude of fundamentalists from this explanation. How do we spot QFists? Well, you can spot them from their language. Basically, it works like this. When we discuss the Quran, We quote the Quran for people so they can analyze its text. Then we ask them, okay, well, what's your opinion about this particular ayah? What's your understanding? Can we perhaps come to a common understanding? And if we can't, we agree to disagree in peace. We call it watnip. We agree to disagree in peace. You can see the explanation there in text. But a QFist does not have this kind of understanding. He does not quote the Quran for you. He quotes the Quran at you. So, take for example, there are verses which say, deaf, dumb, and blind, they will not return to the path. Or, in their hearts is a disease. I'm just paraphrasing now. I mean, there are verses like that. And the QFist will not hesitate to say, this is about you. Why? Because you disagree with him. So this is something to watch out for. When you discuss with a QFist and he starts quoting the ayah at you, then you know, okay, the discussion is not going to be very productive from here on. Another sign is that he terms himself as a Muslim, which is not wrong in itself, but he terms people who disagree with him as non-believers. He might term himself as a monotheist and call other people polytheists, which is quite a heinous term in Islamic thought. So there you have it. I mean, these are the traits of QFists. Inshallah, in the coming programs. So that's all we have for you today. Inshallah, in the future we will be expounding further on the phenomenon of QFists. We will be analyzing their arguments, and we hope to provide a comprehensive refutation of these arguments. It is such a pity that the Quran, which can be used as a document to ratify and solidify diversity amongst not just Muslims but among mankind, it's such a pity that this text is now being used by QFists to show how great they are and how terrible everyone else is. This is a misuse of the text, in our opinion. If we read the Quran properly, the Quran approves of a multiplicity in the path to Allah. So inshallah, in the future, we'll talk more about this. Thank you very much for tuning in. We hope you will subscribe to our channel and have a pleasant day. Bye.